was plagued by warmer than normal temperatures. The one thing that we have been able to rely upon, and a lot of other hunters have been able to rely upon, are the calendar ducks. Calendar birds aren't necessarily dependent upon a big strong front. Yes, they need a little bit of a push. It might be a west wind, it might be a west-northwest wind, a little bit of a temperature drop, but they are in these spots the same time frame regardless, year after year. Any little bit of change in the weather can get them active, whether it be wind to keep them up off the water, a little bit of rain to keep them active. Those are the subtle little things that you've got to pick out of the forecast and plan to hunt these birds on. Last year and up until this point this year, we've filmed some awesome hunts for Realtree's The X. But as any duck hunter would know across the country so far this year, the first half of November was plagued by warmer than normal temperatures. The one thing that we have been able to rely upon, and a lot of other hunters have been able to rely upon, are the calendar ducks. And what I mean by calendar ducks are the species of birds or the groups of ducks that migrate about the same time every year. One of these groups of birds are the divers that initially arrive on Lake Erie. We were there the first part of November as the first leading edge of divers arrived on the lake.
12 o'clock.
Oh, yep. That was pretty awesome.
Those suckers just cruising. Man, those suckers freaking came in fast.
When these layout hunts on Lake Erie are right, and the birds are there and the weather's cooperating, it's fast paced. When we were there was record high temperatures of 75 to 77 degrees. It was sunny, it was calm. You know, it was basically beach weather. We were sitting out there in the layout boats. Not a whole lot was going on. We had a few birds in passing. You know, the initial groups had arrived, but without the weather to push them off the middle of the lake, there wasn't much we could do. But at least the fishing was good.
Couldn't ask for better decoying. I mean, banked out perfect right around the decoys and then right up the middle. That first shot, I was just a little excited. Now they're starting to work.
Man, he turned on a dime out there and
Oh, I know.
That was beautiful.
That was awesome.
Calendar birds aren't necessarily dependent upon a big strong front. Yes, they need a little bit of a push. It might be a west wind, it might be a west-northwest wind, a little bit of a temperature drop, but they are in these spots the same time frame regardless, year after year. Just like the divers show up at Lake Erie the first part of November, the initial leading edge of mallards make their first appearance in northern Illinois somewhere around the middle of the month. You know, plus or minus a few days, somewhere in that 13th to 17th of November time frame, that first leading edge of younger mallards shows their face in northern Illinois.
Kill him. Kill him.
You know, as the footage shows, this hunt took place basically in the city. Just where the northern zone splits into the central zone. This was the one field that was not incorporated, so it was legal to hunt. We had permission. We were well off of the main road, well off of I-80. Birds were concentrated on subdivision ponds, water retention ponds at factories, and we were right there in amongst all of them.
Heel. Back.
And just like that diver hunt, the weather was warm, but the one thing we had on our side here was we had lots of wind and we had rain that was on the leading edge of a big storm system that was moving into the Midwest. And that's the one main thing that you've got to remember when hunting these calendar ducks. Any little bit of change in the weather can get them active, whether it be wind to keep them up off the water, a little bit of rain to keep them active. Those are the subtle little things that you've got to pick out of the forecast and plan to hunt these birds on. In years like we've had this year, where it's record warmth in October and November through most of the country, these calendar birds are the one group of birds that we've had to rely upon. Your ice line birds aren't moving, your snow line birds aren't moving, it hasn't gotten cold. You're relying on these calendar ducks, and you know where they're going to be and when they're going to be there based upon past experience. You got to be there ready for them. You've got to pick little subtle differences in day-to-day forecast where hopefully they're going to be active. And you got to rely upon them to get you through to where that cold is finally going to reach the middle part of the country and get those snowline birds and get those iceline birds active.
That first duck I sent him on when those other ducks started decoying, Matt, he brought it back and I was just like, kettle. He brought it in there and set it down in the corner and then just sat next to it. Looked out, wanted to go after that second one.
If you listen real close, you can hear Matt snoring. what do you expect? Sitting in a comfy layout boat. Sun shining. 70 degrees, calm water. And he is sawing logs.